Hi, my name is David Ethridge. I chose to do my project over aqueducts. What are aqueducts, you might ask? Aqueducts were built to carry water from one place to another. They bring water to cities for people to use. They are constructed out of brick, stone, and concrete. On my model, it is constructed out of concrete. They help keep drinking water away from sewage or other contaminants that hinder good public health. The first picture on the left is of my model. The second is a Roman aqueduct ruin. The third is of Ponte de Garde in southern France. This is a very well preserved and very tall aqueduct. The last is an aqueduct in Quintaro, Mexico. It was built in the 18th century. It's Roman style and it has 74 arches, which is very impressive. That's a large amount of arches. Here is some more pictures of my model and more pictures of the last two aqueducts. The Quintaro and the Ponte Garde. The ancient Romans influenced large-scale use of aqueducts. The Romans are primarily credited for inventing aqueducts, although they were used in many other places. Aqueduct systems were used in ancient Persia, India, Egypt, and other Middle Eastern countries hundreds of years earlier. The Romans discovered that steeper terrain increases water flow, enabling them to transport large quantities of water much faster over longer distances. Not only are they used for drinking water, but also for agriculture and food production. Romans built these aqueducts with gravity in mind. The water source elevation has to be higher than the water's destination. Therefore, a high to low path of water flow using gravity as the force to move the water nearly 57 miles on one aqueduct. Over 500 years, 11 aqueducts were built to transport water to Rome. Water flowed to the city by the force of gravity alone and usually went through a series of distribution tanks within the city. Rome's famous fountains and baths were supplied in that way. Generally, water was not stored and the excess was used to flush out sewers to aid the city's sanitation. This increases public health. This slide is depicting the Segovia Aqueduct in Spain. It is a very well-preserved Roman-built aqueduct. During the Counter-Reformation, Pope Sixtus V of Rome helped renovate and rebuild ancient Roman aqueducts. We talked about this during chapter 11 and at the beginning of chapter 12, I believe. And I was very interested in aqueducts. I thought they were pretty cool. And that's what I decided to do my project on. It turned out pretty good. Lots of work, lots of cuts carving those arches. I couldn't imagine what it was like back in the day. Anyways, Pope Sixtus V was the Bishop of Rome and head of the Catholic Church from 1585 through 1590. He launched an effort to revamp, renovate, or replace infrastructure across Rome during the Counter-Reformation. He sought to bring people back to Rome, and a lack of water would not have helped. He planned to build new roads, the Vatican Library, complete St. Peter's Dome, rebuild papal palaces, and many other projects that would bring people back to the church. I have pictures of some of those on the next slides that I'll point out. For example, the Aqua Felice is one of the aqueducts restored under his rule and is known as the first aqueduct of early modern Rome to be completed. And gravity was still a large part of the force used to move water, but the technology was advancing, and the builders were able to use this to their advantage throughout the revamp process. The Pope's plan worked, and he brought infrastructure that would turn Rome back into a growing and influential city. The aqueducts were what made this growth possible. People need water to survive, and the Pope knew that bringing people back to the Catholic Church and grow, people would need water. Aqueducts made getting water from long distances away and distributing that water safely for people to use possible. This feat is awe-inspiring, and the aqueducts are a large part of why Rome's city was able to grow during the Counter-Reformation. Here's some pictures of the Pope and some of the projects he sponsored during his reign. That is a picture of the Pope. There's some Roman aqueducts here, some of the roads that he had planned to be built across Rome during this time. There's like a square. There's another picture of my project from the top about how water would flow through the aqueduct. This is pictures inside of a church, and there's one of those baths that we were talking about, one of those fountains. That he helped restore using aqueducts. Here's the Aqua Felice, these two pictures you can see right here. Here's St. Peter's Dome, which ancient Roman emperor built St. Peter's Basilica, but the dome never got finished, so he finished that. And then here's a picture of it renovated a few years ago, and you can tell all the colors. It's crazy. That's the Vatican Library that he commissioned. He built that. And here at the top is another example of the Pope's plans to renovate Rome during the Counter-Reformation period in order to bring people back to the church. Civilization and society progressed, technology did as well. By the 17th century, pressurized water systems, pumps, pipes, and water wheel bridges came into existence. Gravity was no longer the controlling factor of transporting water long distances to cities. Aqueducts were modified and outfitted in order to grow with the modern world. As the human population and civilizations grow, water will always need to be accounted for, and the methods for transporting, cleaning, storing, and using water will need to adapt with the time in order to solve the needs humans have for water. For example, a modern adaptation of an aqueduct would be a water main or a primary water feed made out of reinforced concrete. I think I have a picture of that on the next slide, actually. The California Aqueduct is one of the largest in the world and is still used today. I also have a picture of that. And they use it for the same purposes the Romans used aqueducts for. It's crazy how that hasn't changed, but we still need water. Here's a picture of the California Aqueduct. There's the reinforced concrete water pipe or water main. There's a well. There's a water processing plant, and there's a water pump. Just to show how we have progressed at not needing gravity in order to move water. We can use electricity or even gasoline engines to power water and move water wherever we need it to go. There's another example of a dam creating electricity, and also it's using aqueducts to move water certain paths. Yes. Aqueducts are a foundation to modern plumbing practices that promote health, growth, prosperity, and a better way of life. Thank you for your time. I hope you learned and enjoyed.